I've heard a lot of people, not my clients, but like just friends and other people, they're like, oh, I wouldn't want to be that rich. A lot of people throw stones at Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos for being that wealthy and be like, oh, I wouldn't want to be that wealthy. It's like, right. You probably can't. I actually wanted to talk a little bit about that whole wealth thing because it was something I wanted to say about it.
I want to add as well.
There was something I wanted to say about that. I've heard a lot of people, not my clients, but like just friends and other people, they're like, oh, I wouldn't want to be that rich, or, you know, I just... And there's a quote by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm going to butcher it, but he said something like, people look at his physique and they say, I wouldn't want to be that muscular. And he says, you can't even if you tried. And it's the same thing with wealth. A lot of people throw stones at Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos for being that wealthy and be like, oh, I wouldn't want to be that wealthy. It's like, you probably can't. It takes immense grit and fortitude and all these things. Those guys are self-made people. Call it what you want. They're self-made. Like, it's very hard to achieve that.
I have a different side of the same coin where I believe that you do not get to that level, the Elon Musk, by valuing money. So it's like this totally different thing where their priority isn't the money, their priority is the mission. The money is just associated with the mission, right?
Yeah, it's a game.
So so that's where I think he actually, it's funny you talk about Elon because I watch his stuff a lot. He did an interview recently. I don't know the news station, so I'm not even going to mention it, but he did an interview where I think he pretty much said, give me money, give me power, I don't care, I will do what I want. And I think that is the reason he has money.
You have to have imagination as well. His brain works at a different capacity than the rest of us does.
It's cool.
And he's inspirational to a lot of people. Like, to me, I find him 100% super inspirational.
I think
he's completely refabricated the entire automobile industry and
energy
industry because it's energy transportation, it's storage for the capacity, and it's also leveraging the use of that technology in other elements like solar. It could be through windows, it could be through screens. He's done it all.
I think it even changes the fabric of money, how money works in society, because energy and money are kind of connected. And
100%. 100%.
So the one part I wanted to touch on was the stigma around wealth. I don't see that in the Indian community as much, but what I do see is victimhood. I see the victimhood mentality. I cannot be successful, I'm not good enough, or everyone's got it better than me. I see that a lot more than the stigma around money or wealth.
You're saying you see that in our community?
I see that a lot more.
The victim mentality?
You know why?
I see the victim.
And this is probably
interesting. I've personally never seen it. I feel like
I didn't know, like, mental health is a huge problem in South Asian communities.
Every community.
There's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of repression.
I think even more in the South Asian because of the disruption of immigrating to a new country. I think that causes way more stress than people imagine. So much so that I actually Googled it one day. One day I pulled up my computer and went on Google and typed in South Asian and depression. And they have studies on this. Like, depression is way higher in South Asians than non-South Asian groups. Yeah, it's insane. So,
I'm not surprised. Like, when we're doing insurance applications, we're asking about health history, and like the Punjabi starter pack or like Indian starter pack is dad and mom both have high cholesterol and high blood pressure. Dad probably has type 2 diabetes. Mom has some form of thyroid disorder. And both of them have like anxiety and stress medication.
Wow,
for like depression.
You did the health insurance of
that's like
family.
That's the I'm guarantee when people watch this, they're gonna be like, yeah, that's my mom and dad across the board.
Conversations across the board.
Well, this is information from your niche, your clientele.
Well, this isn't just from medical professionals. This is just from when I worked with clients before that, because I have a lot of clients I worked with before that, and even nowadays, like, you're not a medical professional. People get referred to me who are not that, and like in the Indian community, that's the case. They're just not healthy, and it's just, I'll say this across the board with just any immigrants, they're usually not as healthy as if they were born and raised here, and that answer is obvious. They're sacrificing their health for work because they have to, and they got kids, and it's just it's a lot harder, man.
I think a lot of Western society has a lot of propaganda to try to promote different solutions, which might not be the healthiest. So, we could talk about like seed oils and go into
that stuff's starting to come up on my feed, and I'm like, oh God, like, man, you can't eat anything these days.
See, I'm not an expert in that field, but I have a friend that I went to university with. He studied science, and he comes to me and says, you know, all that canola oil you're making your food with, he's like, it's really bad for you.
Yeah.
And then he shows me articles of like how, you know, seed oils, where they come from.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's insane.
Yeah.
It doesn't digest.
Yeah.
It just sits in the stomach for like hours and hours.
And then like machinery for.
It's petroleum is what they talk about. They're like, you're ingesting petroleum, and it sits inside your stomach, and it just keeps churning. It doesn't disintegrate like natural foods do.
Seen this stuff over my head. Clearly, it's over my head. It's not something
We're conscious.
Yeah. It's
actually like last 6 months I lost 30 pounds.
oh shit. Good for you.
And a lot of it came from fixing my diet, fixing the foods I was eating, exercising more, just being very intentional about it.
That's like my biggest hurdle. I'll work out every day hard.
It's the
Eating?
nutrition.
Oh,
Yeah.
whole other ballgame.
That's the hard part.
Yeah. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I have like literally no vices other than pizza and cookies and ice cream. Those are my 3 vices.
I'm convinced
What's
that
that?
That's it. French fries.
but I think it's really easy for you because I'm convinced that if you're successful in one realm, it's the same principles. You just move it into something that's
100%.
equally as important. Health is very important.
It's
probably more important.
the most important thing, period. Nothing else is more important, hands down. We all know it too.
Yeah.
We all know it's the most important thing. It's just,
Exactly. You just have to prioritize it.
yeah.